in today's class, we will cover first chapter, which is fundamentals of testing. So in fundamentals of testing, as for the ISTQB syllabus, the first section discusses about some objectives. What is testing? So what are the objectives of testing? So whenever you want to do testing, why you need to carry on testing, this question should be asked. And if you ask the questions, you will get certain answers like testing is a confidence building activity. Why you need to do carry on testing? So when you test any product or when you test anything in your life, it builds your confidence. As for example, if you are testing a calculator, then if it does 2 plus 2 equal to 4, then you can verify this. Yes, it definitely does 2 plus 2 4, and when you are going to use it, it is definitely work. In this way, you build the confidence on the product. Another objective of testing is finding failures and defects. When you carry on testing, you have a specific purpose to find the failures. Where does the software not work? Where does the software not work? Or what are the defects you are going to find, and what are the areas you have more defects or where you can find them. So you find more defects, you fix them, and as a result, the software works as per your expectation. And that is also known, it helps you in building your confidence as well. Evaluate work products. So whatever work product you have developed, you are evaluating it based on the specification, based on your requirement. Is it correctly developed? No. If it is not correctly developed, what are the missing points we have? Based on that, we highlight and we add those points, those specification in the development in the software, and it helps in verifying the product is working, and as a result you have a quality product. Ensuring that requirements are met. The main intention of testing is to verify that the requirements are met. What if you are developing a product, but in the end you found that the product is of no use for end users? It is working perfectly. That software does what it has to do, but it is of no use for the end product. Then what is the use of? That is waste of money, that is waste of the time, and that's why based on the requirements we have to verify these requirements are met. For example, I have asked you to develop a scientific calculator, and you have disregarded the scientific calculator word, and you have developed a calculator. It does multiplication, subtraction, addition, all other mathematical calculations. But what if it does not do scientific calculations? It cannot find your sine theta, cos theta. Then when the end, as an end user, when I get it, it is of no use. It is working 100%, but it is of no use for me, and that's why we have to verify my requirements or the business requirements are met. A risk management exercise. When we developed a software, it contains a risk. So as a tester, we will carry on some exercises which tries to reduce the risk, outside risk, inside risk, and what are the impacts it has on the software development and in the end the product itself. The next one is measuring and improving quality. Testing is not just carrying on or executing test cases. It is more than that, and one of them is measuring and improving quality. When you have a product, you prepare test cases, you execute them. In that way, you measure how many test cases you have executed, how many requirements are covered, how many defects you found, how many defects are fixed. This calculation will help you to improve the quality. If you carry on the same thing, but if you not take any step to improve the product, what does it mean? This is of no use. So while you're testing activities, you gather matrix, you use this matrix to measure, and based on that you design what are the steps you can take to improve the quality of the product, and what are the steps you can take to improve your testing processes. The next one is complying with standards. You have to follow the organization standards, you have to follow the testing standards. If you follow and complete the testing, if you follow these standards and carry on testing, it will help you to improve the product, improve your testing activities. Preventing defects. So you have carry on test case, you design the test cases, you carry on testing activities, you found the defects, these defects are fixed. But what if you are not taking any actions to prevent them? Then that is no use of testing activities. And as a result, what we need to do is to identify the improvement areas. How you can identify that? You go on the matrix, and in what area you find more defects. What are the areas the developers make mistake? You prepare the matrix and accordingly you plan. So in future these areas have improved quality, and accordingly your quality of the product will be improved. Why testing is necessary? We have discussed the objectives of testing. What if we don't do testing on any product at all? As for example, if you are simply cooking some rice or any, you are testing it to verify that salt is perfectly added, chili powder, everything. What if you add so much salt? It will be salty and you can't eat it. What if it is so spicy? You can't eat it. You have to throw this food sometimes. So in the same manner, if you don't test the product is of no use and you end up not using at all. If you can't use the product, you have spent time, you have spent money on the product. This is all waste. Or if you try to improve it, then also you end up spending so much money. And that's why we have to answer this question, why testing is necessary. And if you see as a testing in context, you will find software that does not work. If you have not tested the software, and if it does not work, if it does not fulfill your purpose, if it does not meet the end users expectations, then what it does? That creates problems for the organization. As a result, what happens? Loss of money. The organization loses money. How? As for example, you have come across many organizations in your life. They were profit-making organizations. They implemented a new software. They have not tested properly. The product doesn't work. And as a result, what happened? They lose money. So many organizations, they have to shut the doors even because the software don't work. Loss of time. People have worked. As for example, I'm working, but at the same time, the product does not do what I have to do. The product is down at the same time, and I cannot work. I am at work, but the product is not available to me. It is not performing what it has to do. Then it is wasting. At the same time, it wastes all the organization's time. The companies have to pay them salaries, but they can't work at all. They ideally said that. So as a result, organization loses time and money. Loss of business reputations. The business loses its reputation and as a result they lose customers, and if they lose customers they lose money. How? As for example, you have come across many organizations. When you call them, as for example in a call center, and they will say you, spare with me, our system is down. Then what happens? If you call 3 to 4 5 times to them, and every time you get the same answer, spare with us, our system is down, you have a bad reputation. Whenever you call this business, you say that okay, the system is always down, and you, this way you don't go to that particular organization, you go to another organization. As for example, you have a software, broadband services. What if the broadband is intermittent? It does not work. It works only 20 hours a day, 4 hours it has some issues, and you go and spread the message, and the business loses its reputation. What if you have a mobile network? Whenever you want to call someone, you say that okay, the mobile is out coverage. It does not have a proper reception. When you call them, the voice breaking, and this is the reason business loses its reputation. And if they lose its reputation, what happens? They lose business. If they lose business, they lose money. If they have no business, then they end up losing their old business, and they have to shut down the doors even. Injury. Sometimes the software that does not work can injure. As for example, you go to any hospital, you have the MRA scan. These are operated using on the software. As for example, X-ray. If they don't work, it can injure you. When you are inside MRA scan, if you get stuck, what happens? As for example, the traffic light system. You are driving, and what happens? Suddenly two sides, they have the green signals, they will drive. Simple. As a result, you get injured. At the same time, if some of the software doesn't work, they can cause death as well. As for example, the traffic light system. You have signals on the crossroads. What if all the 4 sides have green signals? Everybody will drive without looking anywhere, and as a result, there might be so many accidents. People can lose their lives as well. This is the reasons testing is necessary. If you don't test the software properly, it can create so many problems. For an organization, the organization can lose the business, and if they lose the business, so many people can lose their jobs as well. So we have discussed it, the objectives of testing, why testing is necessary. Then we might have a question: what causes software defects? You have come across in your life that this particular software does not work. You launch, or you can open, you can turn on your PC, and you found okay, this website is so slow. You connect it to the broadband, but the broadband is say that okay, it is not receiving the data. You logged it in any particular application, and it doesn't work. So why these are the things happening? Do you think that they are not testing, or the developers are careless and they are not developing properly? No, but there are certain areas, because of these things the software have defects. As for example, humans are fallible. We are all humans and we are fallible, and because of that we will make mistakes, and when we make mistakes we will have defects in the software. Working under pressure. The developers, when they develop the code, they have to work under pressure. They have the deadlines. There are so many other things to do at the same time. They have to achieve the targets, and as a result they make mistakes, and these mistakes turn them into defects. Working with extreme complexity. The business requirements are complex, and when they implement them, they end up making mistakes, and these mistakes cause software defects. So humans are fallible, working under pressure, working with extreme complexity. This causes an error in the code. As a developer, when they make an error, what is that? A mistake made by developers or the programmers. That mistake or error causes a bug or a fault or a defect in a particular software. And that causes, because of that reason, the software does not do what it has to do. It does not perform the specific actions. And if it does not perform the specific action, that we identify that the software does not work. And if the software does not work, we can't use it, and we can't use it. We know the reasons, and because of that, we have to carry on testing. And these are the reasons we find defects in